Welcome to Parenting Tips with Dr. Glow on the WDKX podcast network, where the conversation never ends. I'm reminding you that education is in my DNA. So, what does pushing in your chair really mean? And why in the world am I talking about this topic? Well, there is a researcher by the name of Avery White who does a lot of things related to habits that people have. And she has taken the time to observe people at restaurants and in the business setting. And she has a few insights that we as parents can take away from some of her research. Most of us are used to pushing in our chairs, and many of us do it because we think it is good manners, right? Well, Avery has something to say about that. Basically, what she says is generally, we are people who are trying to make sure that the next person doesn't have to deal with our messiness or our lack of having things in order. And I said we because I'm that person. I will push in a chair when I see that it has not been pushed in. And we as parents, many times when our children leave the breakfast or dinner table, and for those of us who do have it at the same time, we will say, push in that chair. Don't forget to push in that chair. And I know as a classroom instructor, I would tell my students all the time, be sure to push in the chair. Leave it like you found it. Hopefully that's the way you found it. So one of the things that Avery dug deep in for investigating this habit, she found out it was more than just manners learned from mom or dad, but it was habits that were picked up upon by our children or by us when we saw our parents, the significant adult in our lives, doing it. And so, as a result of seeing it done, we were that child and later that adult who continued with that habit. So, mom and dad, as parents, we have to understand our children are watching us. They are looking at everything we do. I talked a few episodes about the fact that if we cheat, if we lie, they see it and they will probably mimic it. But they will learn by seeing what we do. And if we set it as a rule, we think that's why they do it all the time. But think about this, once they're out of your sight, once they're out of your home, they may stop doing it. Period. That's just the way it is. We always want to leave things better than the way we found them. And as Avery shares in her research, that we have sometimes the tendency to want to please others. So, another factor in pushing in that chair may be that we want others to be pleased with what we do. We don't want to necessarily cause negative comments to result. That coworker that enters the conference room and all the chairs are not pushed in, we don't want them to think badly of the folks that just left that conference room, of which you may have been one of those folks. So sometimes, Avery White has shared, we become people pleasers and we do things to people to please people. And so one of the things she shares is that parents, we want to ensure that our children are not just doing things to please people, but they're doing things because they're satisfied with what they're doing. It's what they want to do. Yes, rules are part of life, expectations are part of life. But if you think about it, daily habits like hanging the towel back on the towel rack as opposed to throwing it on the floor or throwing it in the laundry when it's dry. How we treat people who are service workers, the custodian, the server at the restaurant, the person who is the valet at a hotel. Our children are watching us. And if you are rude and not inclined to display pleasant behavior, our children can do the same. So, yeah, we think about that chair and pushing that chair in. And if we did leave the room better than the way we found it, that's important. It's important to parents that we care about what we do and do it because it's good to do it. I know that makes no sense, but it does make sense. Um, we can punish our children, we can judge our children for not doing what's the right thing to do, but the ultimate thing is we want them to mimic our behavior. We want them to embrace what is a good thing and do it out of habit as opposed to being forced to do it because punishment may come. So, what can I say? Our time as parents is important for our children. Our time as parents doing great and good things is good for the children to see. And whether you tip the valet driver, whether you compliment a person on a well done job, or whether you criticize them or not tip the valet driver, your child is watching. What is it that you want them to walk away with? So recognize that holding the door of the elevator for someone is important, or ensuring that the person walking behind you as you enter a building doesn't have the door slammed in front of them. It's important. And that is the way in which we can form positive and strong relationships and also have a level of confidence that we're doing the right thing. In the city of Rochester, we have the Do the Right Thing Award. And sometimes people think, oh, that's not a major thing that this child is being recognized for. Yes, it is. Whenever we do good and we provide support to others and we are concerned about other people and not ourselves, it's always doing the right thing. So make up your mind to help the next person. That next person is your child. You have been listening to Parenting Tips with Dr. Glow on the WDKX Podcast Network, where the conversation never ends. Question: what gestures do you remember being done while you were a child that you do now?